Before we begin today's story, I want to ask you something. If life gave you the smallest cup to hold, would you still dare to pour a dream big enough to overflow it? On a crowded Indian street, with the constant honking of buses, dust swirling in the air, and people rushing past, there stood a boy. In front of him a tiny stall, a rusted aluminum kettle, and rows of steaming glasses filled with chai. He was a chaiwala, just a child selling tea to survive. To many, he was invisible. To others, he was nothing more than a tea seller. But behind those tired eyes, behind that worn-out shirt, there lived a dream bigger than the world around him. This boy came from poverty. School was a privilege he rarely had. His mornings began not with lessons, but with boiling milk and crushing cardamom. Customers would come, order their tea, toss a few coins, and leave. But here's what no one noticed. When customers left behind old newspapers, he would pick them up. Torn, crumpled, stained with tea, but to him, they were treasures. By the glow of the chai stall's lamp, he taught himself words, sentences, ideas. At night, when others slept, he stood under a dim streetlight, tracing letters with his finger, whispering English words he barely understood. He listened to conversations between tourists, repeating their accents, trying to catch their rhythm. People mocked him. Tea boy, stick to tea. Books won't feed you. But he smiled silently, poured another cup, and kept learning. And that's the first lesson. Dreams rarely come wrapped in comfort. They come hidden inside struggle. They're like seeds buried deep in the soil, seen, forgotten, stepped upon. But under the right persistence, one day they break through. We often think, I will dream when conditions are better, when money comes, when support arrives. But the truth is, great dreams don't wait for great conditions. They begin in the mud, in the dust, in the smallest stalls of life. Psychologists call this grit, the ability to persevere in the face of hardship. Studies from Stanford and Harvard reveal that grit, more than intelligence, more than talent, is the #1 predictor of success. Think about it. In India, millions begin with nothing. A vegetable seller, a farmer, a chaiwala. But among them, a few carry relentless grit. They plant a seed inside themselves that whispers, tomorrow can be better. And day by day, they water it with effort. That boy selling tea, he wasn't just selling chai. He was selling persistence. He was building his roots underground, preparing for the day he would rise above. Years passed. Cup after cup, coin after coin. The boy saved what little he could. Every small act mattered. One more word learned from a newspaper. One more phrase repeated after a tourist. One more page of a borrowed book read under the street lamp. Slowly, he built not just knowledge, but character. A mentor who saw his spark, an opportunity that many would dismiss as too small. But he grabbed it with both hands. He entered the world of business, small, then bigger. From a roadside stall, he built something lasting. From a single kettle, he created jobs for hundreds. But here's what's most inspiring. He never forgot the kettle, the street light, or the laughter of those who mocked him. Life, my friends, is exactly like a cup of tea. If you drink it hot, you feel its warmth, its energy. If you leave it too long, it goes cold, tasteless, wasted. Dreams are the same. If you act on them while the fire is alive, they nourish your soul. If you wait too long, they fade into nothingness. How many of us have let our tea go cold? How many dreams did we set aside, telling ourselves tomorrow, until tomorrow never came? A leadership coach once said, "Hardship is not life punishing you. It is life preparing you." The T-boy's hardship was his classroom. His lack of school made him value every scrap of knowledge. His poverty made him cherish every coin. His ridicule taught him the art of silence, of proving through action instead of argument. This is what experts call transformational resilience, the ability to turn obstacles into stepping stones. And when we look at history, we find that the greatest leaders, the most inspiring achievers, often came from such classrooms. And maybe, right now, you're sitting with your own struggles. Maybe you're a student worried about exams. Maybe you're a farmer staring at dry land. Maybe you're a worker tired of the daily grind. Or maybe you're someone who feels invisible, just like that boy once did. Hear this: your starting point does not define your finishing line. Every chawala can become a leader. Every worker can become a builder. Every small dream can become a great reality if only you don't give up. Think of it. A simple cup of chai, something so ordinary, became the fuel for something extraordinary. The boy sold tea not just to survive, but to keep dreaming. Every sip carried his resilience. Every coin saved carried his hope. Every night under the streetlight carried his faith that tomorrow would open a door. And when that door finally opened, he was ready because he had been preparing all along. We live in a world that tells us, you are too small, your dream is too big, stay where you are. But stories like this remind us, it is not the size of your beginning that matters, but the size of your belief. A tea stall may look tiny, but inside it can live the seed of a company, a movement, even a leader who changes millions of lives. And that is the beauty of India. This land is full of chai stalls, vegetable carts, hand-woven baskets, rickshaw rides, and hidden in them are countless dreams waiting to be brewed. So here's my question for you. What are you brewing in your cup? Will you let it stay small, unnoticed, forgotten? Or will you pour it out, share it, let it overflow into something the world cannot ignore? If a T-boy could rise from the dust of the streets, from the mockery of voices, from the limits of poverty, and build a life that inspired millions, then why not you? If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe to this channel, because together we will keep collecting stories that don't just inspire but transform. And remember this line, let it sink deep into your soul. You don't need a grand beginning to dream big, but you do need a dream to create a grand life.